9 people were killed and 144 injured over sectarian clashes in western Cairo last night. The violence was triggered when word got out that a Christian woman had married a Muslim and was being held in a church against her will. In the ensuing scuffle, shots were fired, fire bombs were hurled, and 2 churches were set on fire.
About 500 conservative Islamists, known as Salafists, gathered outside the St. Mina Church in the neighborhood of Mbaba, demanding to take custody of the woman they believe had converted to Islam. The commotion triggered a shouting match between church guards, neighbors, and the Islamists. An exchange of gunfire, firebombs, and stones ensued, including those shooting into the crowd from rooftops. Although Coptic Christians barricaded themselves in and outside the church, trying to protect it, the Islamists threw firebombs, setting homes ablaze near the church. That's when another church in the same area was set on fire. It suffered severe damage, but no other casualties were reported. Firefighters rushed to douse the flames while a large number of police and troops were deployed to stop the violence. The army had to fire shots into the air and use tear gas to separate the 2 sides. But the damage was already done, and residents blame Egypt's military for failing to react quickly enough. Mixed relationships between Muslims and Christians have long been considered taboo in Egypt. The Muslim majority and Christian minority are both largely conservative, and such relationships are often the source of deadly clashes between the 2 faiths. Residents believe this attack is no different. Such clashes put further strain on the country's military rulers, who are trying to restore order after President Hosni Mubarak was toppled by the masses demanding democratic change.
Syrian security forces backed by tanks have entered the southern town of Tafis, reportedly breaking into houses and arresting residents there. 800 civilians have been killed since an uprising began in mid-March, demanding political freedom and an end to corruption. Syrian forces shot dead 6 civilians in an attack on Sunni districts in the city of Banyas yesterday. Anti-regime sources say 3 women were killed when they complained about government troops cutting power lines. Meanwhile, hundreds of Syrian residents living in Jordan gathered in front of the Syrian embassy in Amman yesterday, calling on President Bashar al-Assad to step down. Protesters also called for an end to the siege in Daraa and condemned military operations nationwide. The European Union has agreed to freeze assets and impose travel restrictions on 14 Syrian officials in response to Assad's violent crackdown. To Japan, where Tokyo Electric Power Company is planning to open a reinforced door to the #1 reactor at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. But there are concerns that opening that door may cause more radiation to leak out. TEPCO's general manager vows to take precautionary measures to ensure opening the double doors is safe to do so. The move is vital for workers to get inside to build a new system to cool the reactor. TEPCO also promises to report any radiation leaks to the Nuclear and Industrial Safety Agency. Newly released video shows the working environment inside reactor #1 has improved. Meantime, Japan has announced it will maintain atomic power as a major part of its energy policy, despite the country's ongoing nuclear crisis. And still ahead in our news, a call for some single mainland mothers to be allowed to stay here. Police arrests in connection with a football gambling syndicate. And Hong Kong's Muslim cemeteries running out of burial spaces.